kinematic joint or kinematic pair and its types. Kinematic joint is the connection between two links, and the relative motion between those two links is always constrained in nature. And types of kinematic joint. There are different types of kinematic joint based on different types of criteria. First one is based on relative motion. First one is turning or revolute joint. Second one is sliding or prismatic joint. Third one is rolling joint. Fourth one is screw joints. Fifth one is spherical joint. And last one is universal joint. Then classification based upon the type of contact. First one is lower joint. Second one is higher joint. And last one is wrapping joint. Then based on type of closure. First one is self-closed or form-closed or permanently closed joint. And second one is the forced closed joint. So let's discuss in more detail. First one is the classification based on the relative joints. First one is turning or revolute joint. In this type of joint, the rotation always allows about a fixed axis. In this example, we can see that this shaft is rotated only about this axis, and here in this example, the shaft rotate only in this direction. There is not any movement uh, except this rotation. In sliding or prismatic joint, there is only sliding, that it allows linear motion along a fixed axis. Means there is only one translation or sliding motion in one particular direction. And in rolling, there is rolls motion between two surfaces. In this figure, we can see that these balls are rolls between two joints. Means there is only rolling. In screw joints, there is two types of motions for rotation as well as translation, but both are dependent to each other. As we rotate this screw, it as a result of which it also translates. Means rotation as well as translations are dependent to each other. Means it converts rotatory motion into linear motion or linear motion into rotary motion. Then spherical joint. In spherical joint, it allows the rotation about any axis which is passed through the center. Means this link is rotate about this axis. Like example is joystick, which we used in playing games. And last one is the universal joint. In this joint, it allows angular rotation between two intersecting axes. Means it rotates in this about this axis as well as rotate about this axis. After that, the kinematic joints classification based on the type of contact. First one is lower joint. In lower joint, the contacting surface is completely surface or line contacting. As a result, constrained relative motion we get. And examples in this category is revolute joint, which we discussed in the previous turning about a fixed axis. Then prismatic joint, sliding along a fixed axis. Screw joint, helical motion. And spherical joint, which is rotation about any axis which pass through center. In these all joints, there is surface contact. In turning joint, there is also surface contact. In prismatic joint, there is also surface contact. In screw, there is also surface contact. And in spherical joint, there is also surface contact. Relative motion is limited and well defined due to continuous contact between the joint elements. In higher joint, the contact joint elements is at a point or along a line, resulting in less constrained motion. Examples is rolling joint, rolling between two surfaces, cam and follower, point contact between this cam and follower. This is cam, this is follower, and there is point contact. And ball and socket joint with point contact. Point contact always allow rotation in all directions. Relative motion is less constrained because contact is at a point or along a line. Then wrapping joint. In wrapping joint, one member is partially or completely wraps around the other, allowing multiple relative motion. Example is belt and pulley, chain and sprocket, rope and drum. And in belt joint, the belt wraps around the uh, transmitting pulley, and chain wraps around sprocket and transmitting the motion, and rope wraps around the drum, transmitting motion. Wrapping allows transmission of motion and force over a large contact area through partial or complete enveloping. In type and classification based on the type of closure. In this category, there are two types. There is two types: self-closed or form-closed or permanently closed joint. The joint elements are in continuous contact by their geometric form, and no external force is required to keep the joint closed. Example is Revolute Joint, Prismatic Joint, Rolling Joint, Screw Joint, and Spherical Joint, and Universal Joint. Closure is maintained by the shape or geometry of the joint elements. We can see that the surface contact is always maintained by the shape of the elements of the joints. In force or closed joint, the joint elements are held in contact by external force or load. The joint would be open or separate if the force is removed. Example is cam and follower. And the force is applied by this spring. If we remove this spring, then these both both elements separate from each other. They contact uh, opened. And second example is power press, ram and bed with force, then clutch engaged position, brake which when we applied, ball and socket with preload, toggle joint with load. Closure is maintained by an external force or load, spring force, magnetic force, hydraulic or pneumatic pressure, etc.